Well, hello there everyone, and welcome back to my channel and my nursery for another video. This is Sharon with Serenade Nursery coming at you. I'm recording this on Monday, September 19th, but this probably won't go up for another day or two. And if you watched my previous two videos, you saw that I had a box opening as well as a first change in chat video with baby Maisie. And I'm still doing the Meet the Babies, and I believe this is going to be episode number 8 because Maisie was baby number 7 and I had just gotten her last week. Oh my goodness, yeah, she's been home for a few days, so excited. But hello to all my new subscribers. I've gotten a few that's been coming in over the last few days, so hello to everyone who is new. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the housekeeping items out of the way first. If you like my content and my videos, please subscribe. I would really appreciate that. That helps me out so much. And also hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos do get uploaded. Also hit the like button. That also helps out my channel so much. And leave a comment and tell me what you guys think. Alright, so let's get on with this. As I said, this is Monday, September 19th, but this probably won't go up until another day or two. It just kind of depends on when I can get this edited, and I'm trying to get some stuff kind of, pre-filmed, that way in case I can't film for a day, I've actually got some material that I can give you guys in the event that I am unable to film for however long, whether it's a day or 2 days or whatever, because sometimes life happens and you just never know. Anyway, I am talking way too much, but this is Meet the Babies episode 8, and now, I've had this girl on here fairly recently. This is the Cuddles Sculpt by Donna Rubert. I don't think you can get this sculpt anymore unless you look on eBay or something. This is a discontinued sculpt, but this was sold through Bountiful Baby. This sculpt was for quite a long time, actually, but this is Cuddles by Donna Rubert. And as we can see, we have her just kind of laying here in this baby nest that I had just recently purchased. It came in a couple days ago. And so I wanted to go ahead and put her in here, although she's pretty big for this. She doesn't really have a whole lot of room to move around, do you, sweetheart? No. But anyway, this baby's name is Gabriella, and she is, I believe, 24 inches long with the bent legs. She's got the bent legs, as you can see. She was done with, she feels like she was done with Genesis heat set paints, and she has beautifully rooted blonde hair. It's really nice, and I think we're going to have to, when we comb this, we'll go ahead and just put some water on this and just comb it for her a little bit. It's a little bit frizzy through here, but I did condition her last time that I had her out, and I don't want to condition her, too often. So we'll just go ahead and put water on her, and that should help her hair. It's not too much of a mess or anything. It's actually quite nice, but I do like to look after it and make sure it stays in good shape, because I love to take care of all my babies, and because we want them to last as long as we possibly can. Anyway, she kind of looks like maybe a little 2 or 3 year old, this girl. Yeah, I think this is what she's kind of made to resemble. I don't know who the original artist was on her, but I got her from Sharon over at Life with Sharon B, who had fixed her up. There wasn't really a whole lot of fixing up that she did with her, just a few things, mainly on her face. She redid her lips, and she put on new eyelashes for her, because I guess the eyelashes that she originally came with, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is in place, because she's got such beautiful lashes that I don't want to have anything out of place. But Sharon put new eyelashes on her because her lashes, were just too short. They look too sparse, and so she put like toddler lashes on her, and they look so pretty. And as I said, she redid her lips, did a little bit of glossing on her, and I think she redid her nails, and just kind of fixed her up, touched her up a bit, and then I purchased her. So yeah, I purchased this baby. She has 3/4 arms and 3/4 legs, so movability is really great, and this is kind of what you need when you have a toddler doll, because you want to try to have them be able to pose and to sit kind of wherever you want them to sit. But anyway, what we're going to change her into is we're going to go from one cute little sundress to another cute little sundress, because I think she's going to look really pretty in this. Now, this is a Faded Glory 12-month, okay? Yeah, just make sure. Yeah, Faded Glory, 12-month size. Normally she can wear some 6 to 9 months. She can wear some 9 to 12 month. But I originally was going to put this on Nora, but it looked like it was going to be too small on Nora. But I think it'll be real good for Gabriella. And it's got brighter colors than this does. All this is very pretty, don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, very nice. You get more color down here with the flowers and the pink and all that. But I wanted to put this cute little bright blue dress on her and it's just splotched over with flowers, and it's got some lace, like it's got some lace, you know, kind of on the front here in a couple of places, and then the bodice here is very stretchy. It's got some stretchy material here, and it's very, it feels like it's very, you know, giveable and movable here. Here is the back of it. And it's got spaghetti straps, so I think this is going to fit her really nicely. So we're going to change her into this, which won't take us long. I'm going to go ahead and just leave the same socks on her. We're not going to change her diaper. The white onesie is going to stay, so all we need to do is just slip this thing off of her and slip on the new one. And but anyway, I wanted to talk with you guys today, and I'll try not to make a career out of this, but the subject of today's video is something that I have heard other people tell that they have been told by people who have seen their dolls, like if they do a reaction video, like if they make a video of like an outing video where they get reactions, and or like you know, somebody who has seen someone's dolls, and you know, there's people that'll make comments like this. I have never been told this before. But I have heard this like so many times, and honestly, it just has me just kind of shaking my head and scratching my head in puzzlement. Like, why would anybody say something like this? You know, to me, like, one has nothing to do with the other, pretty much. You know, I mean, anyway, let me go ahead and get on with it here while we get her changed. And well, anyway, what I have heard, and I really don't need to lift her up. I think I can just slip this off of her. But what I have heard other people say, that people have commented to them very rudely, like when they've seen their dolls, you know, their reborns, or like whether it's in an outing or just you know, whatnot. And it's, you know, people will see the dolls and they'll say something like, well, why don't you have a real baby, or why don't you adopt a child? There's so many kids in the world that need homes, and why are you spending so much money on an inanimate object like this, and this is just sick, you know, get a life and have a kid, or adopt a real baby, or a real child. And it just, as I said, it has me scratching my head, because I don't get why people would say such a thing. And, you know, to me, I mean, that is like super rude. It is none of anybody's business. Oh my goodness, Gabriella, your head, oh my goodness, like her poor, it's like she kind of like leaned back like this, and her head was kind of in an awkward position. Yeah, not good. Oh my goodness me, girl. And I've never heard this told to myself before. Like, nobody's ever told this to me. But and if they did, well, I know exactly what remark I would say back, and I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. But I don't understand why people have to be so rude and insensitive about this, because whether you are a doll collector, now some people have these dolls because they can't have kids. I get that. You know, they have fertility issues. Maybe they have one of these, you know, maybe they have a reborn, or you know, one of these dolls to kind of help with the loss of a baby. I have heard about that many times over. So like somebody will get baby fever or something, you know, like but they can't or don't want to have a, you know, a real child, because it's, you know, having a real child is so different than, you know, than collecting, you know, these dolls and changing up these dolls, and having these dolls just kind of maybe sit on your bed with you, like, you know, looking cute, or, you know, having them just kind of sitting up in a bouncer. They're not alive. They're not real. And adopting, well, whether you adopt a child or have a baby, like if you I call it home growing. If you have a homegrown baby or you adopt a child, no matter how old that child is, that's a big responsibility. And, you know, some people just aren't ready for it. Some people don't want to have kids. Let's face it, some people don't want to have kids. And if that's their choice, that is their choice, and they don't have to answer to anybody in regard to that. And, but anyway, so, you know, to me, it's like you're comparing apples and oranges, because I don't know, and I think it goes back to how the biggest myth, I think, to this hobby is that people think that we're sick individuals, that we're certifiable, and that we think that these dolls are real. You know, I mean, yeah, we call them babies because they look like real babies. You know, they look like they could be a real child. Sometimes they were sculpted after a real child or a likeness of someone. And so we call them babies because, you know, they look like babies, and we like to hold them like babies, and we dress them up like babies and such. But that doesn't mean that someone is just gonna, like, go out and have a kid the first chance they get, or adopt a child, or, you know, if they're not ready for it, or they can't. Some people can't on either score. Some people can't have a baby. Some people cannot adopt a child for whatever reason. Because let me tell you, like, there's rules, and it's not like, and speaking from somebody who has had this experience, because we have adopted kids. We've adopted 2 children. They're grown up now. We adopted two children from Bulgaria in 2000. But anyway, and if you guys are interested in that story, I'll tell you some of the nitty gritty with that. I won't go into the whole thing, but I'll tell you some of the nitty gritty on that. But it really just kind of, well, it irritates me, number one, when I hear that somebody has encountered somebody that has said something similar to them. And it has me puzzled, because, again, you're comparing apples and oranges, because, you know, a real child, I mean, that's a real child. Like, you know, that child is alive. You know, that person lives, breathes, has needs, needs to eat, needs to sleep, has to go to school eventually. And, you know, they grow up, and as they grow, their needs grow. And you're responsible for that child until they're 18, sometimes even longer, you know. Even sometimes when they go off to college, I mean, you're helping them out and such. So, I mean, it's not like, okay, I'm gonna put this very bluntly. I'm gonna be very blunt. You can't put your real kids away after you're done playing with them. You know, you can't just sit them on the changing table or the bouncer and turn off an off switch. It doesn't work that way. And yeah, these dolls, these babies, you know, they're not alive. And they're a work of art. You know, they're artwork pieces. And yes, we hug them. Yes, we, you know, play with them. Yes, we dress them up. But the thing is, they're not alive. They're not gonna cry. They're not gonna outgrow their clothes. They're not gonna need to eat. They're not gonna need to go to the bathroom. They're not gonna complain about being cold or being too hot or being sick. Now you can do role play stuff and pretend, you know, kind of do like the let's pretend stuff. But, you know, in actuality, you know, they're not going to come to life, and they're not going to complain about any of this, and they're not going to cry, and they're not going to spit up, and they're not going to get, you know, I think I said get sick, and they're not going to, you know, they're not going to outgrow their clothes, and they're not going to grow up to be bratty teenagers. And I'm sorry for, you know, I don't mean that every teenager is bratty. And for any teenagers that may be watching this video, you know, no offense, please, you know, I meant no offense. It's just, you know, some kids grow up to be very bratty. And, you know, these guys aren't going to be. Yeah, she's got like a little pouty expression on her face. You guys can see that, you know, she's pouting. But, you know, that doesn't mean that she's going to, like, start crying and hanging onto my leg and mommy this and mommy that, and you know, there's not going to be any kind of like on switch to turn her on and make her come to life, where I'm going to have to, you know, take care of her until she's 18 and over. And let's face it, a real child, you know, you can't turn a switch and turn them off and then put them away when you're done playing with them. You just, this doesn't work that way. And you know what, like, pregnancy and birthing a baby is expensive. I mean, it costs a lot of money. It costs money to get them clothes, and yeah, you get baby shower gifts sometimes if you have something like that, or if you got like friends or, maybe relatives that, that give things to you or whatnot. But it's expensive. It's expensive to be pregnant. It's expensive. I would never, I mean, I have never been there. I could, it's another story. I had fertility issues, could never get pregnant, and I had a total hysterectomy at the ripe old age of 29. So yeah, that's a little bit of history about me. I will make another video and to talk about that if you guys are interested. But when you're dealing with real children, whether they're birthed or adopted, it's expensive. Being pregnant is expensive. Doing the delivery is expensive. Doctor's appointments. Yeah, if you have insurance, it's not as bad, but it's still going to be expensive. And you're going to have to clothe that child. You're going to have to feed that child. And then to adopt a child, oh my gosh. Now, okay, there's the foster care system. And I could go on and on and on and on about how sucky I think the foster care system here in the States is. When we were doing this whole adoption, like, over 20 years ago, we had to, at first we were told that we had to get a foster care license, and then, we were told that we didn't. And we kind of looked at some of the foster care stuff, and I mean, it's terrible. It's awful. It's terrible. There's a lot of just really super messed up kids in the system, and I think it's gotten worse over the years. I mean, I haven't looked at anything lately because, well, I'm not fostering a kid. I'm not having any more kids. I'm not, I can't have any kids. I mean, I'm too old for that crap anyway. Even if I could, I'm not adopting any more kids. And so, if there was never any reason for me to look at any of the foster stuff. But, I think it's gotten worse over the years, ever since we were, into this whole adoption thing. And as I said, I mean, there's some very messed up kids in the system. And then you go, and then let's say you decide that you're going to adopt overseas. Hi, dear.
Hi, dear.
My husband just got home from a meeting, and the topic of discussion is, what we talked about the other day when somebody would say to a doll collector, well, why don't you adopt a real child or have a baby,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, well, anyway, I'll tell you guys the remark that, that my husband came up with if somebody were to say that to us is, we did adopt 2 children, and they had a better life than they would have had in their country of origin. When are you going to adopt, and how many? And I can about imagine that they're going to get, that we would hear like stutter, 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 and they wouldn't know what to say. They wouldn't know what to say. And because, we did our duty, we did our diligence, we did our thing. And as I was telling him earlier, dear, that
I'm listening.
That you're responsible for a real child, no matter if you birth it or adopt it, until they're 18 and over, even sometimes over. And let's face it, when you're done playing with that kid, you can't just turn off an off switch and stick them on a changing table or a bouncer. They're not going to just turn off when you're done playing with them. Whereas the dolls, they're inanimate objects, and, it's not like, they're not going to cry, and you don't have to feed them, and they're not going to outgrow their clothes, they're not going to get sick, and all that stuff. So I was telling them that it's like comparing apples and oranges,
Right.
And how I don't understand why people act so like rude and insensitively about that, because there are people who can't have kids, and it's very depressing for them. It's very, it triggers a lot of emotions. And then there's people who can't adopt kids because for one reason or another, whether it's age or money. And I just got to the point where, I was talking about how expensive, pregnancy is, and the aftercare and all that, yeah. And how messed up the foster care system here in the States is. And it's probably gotten worse over the years. And then now I've just started getting into the overseas adoptions, and let me tell you, it's very expensive. It is very super expensive, and it's probably gotten even more so since we did it.
Probably more pain in the butt too.
Yeah, because I think in a lot of countries, I think the rules are a lot more stringent, and it's done a lot differently than what we went through.
Right. It depends on the country, and if the country is more popular,
Yep.
you know, they can set up whatever they want. If it's you know, there's countries out there that, well, I'll put it bluntly and that kind of crude, they need to get rid of kids.
Yep.
Because of the poverty.
Right.
So, there's no right way, wrong way. It's, I don't know. You just got to do your thing and respect other people.
Exactly. You have to respect other people for their choices and what they are able and may not be able to do. And you know, just because they indulge in you know, kind of a, well, let's call it a very unusual hobby, that doesn't mean that it gives you the right to be rude and insensitive to that person, you know, just because you don't understand something that they, you know, that they enjoy doing, you know.
Right.
And but I mean, you got to be careful what you say to people, because you know, you could really hurt somebody's feelings. You could really hurt someone mentally, you know, psychologically, you know, by and maybe you didn't, you know, maybe let's say you don't mean to say something to someone like that. You know, if you're the, you know, let's say you're one of the people that says, well, you know, why don't you adopt a child or have a baby? You know, you may not mean for it to sound hurtful. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. But, you know, you can really, you know, you can really do some damage to someone, you know, with a comment like that. I mean, you know, people need to think about what they say and how they say it. Right?
Right. And you got, in that same train of thought, watch, you know, what you say to somebody else. It brings up a bunch of violence that we're having
Right.
throughout the world. You know.
Yep.
Live and let live.
Yes.
As long as it doesn't affect you personally. Let the other person do their thing.
Right, right. I mean, they're not hurting anybody. They're doing something that they enjoy, and that doesn't give you the right to rake them over the coals or to fillet them over a grill. You know, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's mean, and you know, you need to, you know, people need to think before they open their yap. In my opinion, you know, and people don't, and but you know what they need to understand is, you know, it's not easy to adopt. And I'm going to put this bluntly too. You know, we were talking bluntly here. With all that money that you're paying, you know, for an overseas adoption, it's, you know, you're paying the facilitators. You're paying, like, in our case, you know, we paid the orphanage director, you know, a fee, and then we had to get her gifts, like, after, like, she approved us. In sort of a bribery way, or just sort of like a, well, thank you for giving us that privilege to adopt this kid, you know. And basically what you're doing is you're pretty much buying a kid. I'm sorry to say that, you guys, but, you know, when you're all that money you're paying, and you know, to facilitate this adoption, it's like you're buying a kid to take home with you.
And don't forget, we got 2 vacations overseas.
Yep, that's right.
One to see the kids and one to bring them home.
Right.
And that's an expense.
Oh yeah, because we don't get reimbursed for that. And I don't know if they do it the same way now, because, as I said, you know, over 20 years ago, things are probably way, way different. But we had to go, before we even, when we got approved by the adoption agency, then we had to make the first trip over to Bulgaria, and we adopted 2 kids at the same time. Not siblings, but 2 kids at the same time. And they were older children. They were 10 and 5 when we saw them. So we totally jumped, blindly off the diving board. We had a lot of literature to read, though, because orphanage kids do have issues. And oh boy, that's another story. Yes, we had issues. But that's for another time and place. And well, anyway, you have to go over there for the first time to meet the child or children that you're adopting. And then you have to get the final approval by the orphanage director. Are they going to approve you for this adoption? And once that is settled, then you have to go back home and complete the adoption process, all your paperwork, and then that's another thing. Like you get a home visit by a social worker. It's not like you get it; you have to have it. It's mandatory, and that's another bone of contention that I could pick with a little bit. Well, a lot.
Stick with your hobby.
Yes. I mean, I'm telling you guys, there's a whole lot that went into this, and I could tell you some real horror stories. But so anyway, you get a social worker that has to come and do a home visit to approve you and your home that it's going to be safe for a child to live with you. And nobody has to go through that when they're pregnant and having their biological kid. There's times that they will rake you over the coals, like they'll give you the 3rd degree and then the 4th degree and then the 5th degree. And there's just a lot of stuff that you have to do to prepare. There's a lot of literature and stuff that they want you to read. There's books that they want you to read. There's papers that you got to sign. You got to go through your government. You got to go through the immigration. And then you also have to go through the country that you choose. That you're choosing to adopt from. You got to go through their government too, because there's stuff on their end that they got to approve. And it's a whole big involved, very long. It can be very long and drawn out. Probably is even more so now. So you guys, it's not easy. It's easy for somebody to say, well, why don't you go adopt a kid? It's not like you can go to the little Cabbage Patch store and, oh, I want this kid. This is kid made to order. I want this kid. I want this kid. I want this kid. It's not like you're shopping and can take this kid home the very same day. There's a lot to it. And until you understand what that process is, until people understands what that process is, I don't think they have any right to say that to anybody. It's like, excuse me, how dare you? How dare you say something like that? And so that's my take on it. And John, my husband, we were talking at length about this the other day at the table, sitting there having our coffee, our caffeine. He has espresso, I have cappuccino. And, we get into some deep subjects. And so this was just something that we talked about the other day. And it just, I had watched a video, I think either the day before, of someone who had encountered something like that over the last, I don't know, whenever it was, whether it was like a few months ago or a year ago. And she was also asked like some rude questions like, well, how many miscarriages did you have? And well, how old was your baby when it died? And so forth. And, she never had a baby. She never had any miscarriage. And, she's like, that is rude. How dare you ask me something like that, And, people just need to stop and think about what they are saying, because, you could turn it back around them. Would you want to be asked something like that? It's just not cool. Anyway, been sitting here talking. We got to put Gabriella's dress on her. So anyway, that is my take on it. And do you have anything else to say on it?
No.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll keep going.
Right. Oh yeah. Right. And I've gone on and on and on and on. But we're gonna go ahead and slip this over her head. But yeah, I know I kind of got on my soapbox, and it was nice that you guys got to hear. My husband, his name is John, it's nice that you guys got to hear him on the video too, because that doesn't happen very often. He's usually off in the other room or doing something else. And so he had just come home from a meeting, and I'm filming in the bedroom on the bed here, and he came in here to, we have our master bath is like right off of the bedroom here, so he came in to put away his wallet and his keys and had to do something in the bathroom, and he heard me talking about this stuff, and so I decided to, you know, get him in on the act. And yeah, so I'm glad you guys got to hear him and to be able to get his take on stuff too. And oh my goodness, girl, your head. Her head always wants to kind of come back like this, like if I lift her up, you know, her head, you know, definitely falls back. So like, you know, like it should, you know, it's weighted to do that, you know, which it should be. But I just have to remember to adjust her on this baby nest. Yeah, this baby nest. Because normally I have her on the boppy, but she's, you know, she's rather too big for that. So I put her in this baby nest, although she's a little bit too big for it too. Oh my goodness. I've been talking so much, I'm getting a dry throat here. But yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and talk with you guys about that, and it's nice that you got to hear John's take on the situation and what he thinks. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that as well, you know, just something a little different. I'm sorry I ranted and raved, but it just, you know, it bothers me, you know, when people say just insensitive things like that to people, and it's just, yeah, not cool at all. Anyway, oh my gosh, like, this dress looks so cute on her. It does. This is perfect for her. I mean, this fits her like a glove. And I feel like this dress ran kind of small. Because as I said, I originally wanted to get this for Nora. I originally got it for Nora. But, you know, just taking a look at it, and, you know, just kind of putting it up to her, I thought it would be, you know, just a bit too small on her, which it was, but I think it fits Gabriella perfectly, and she looks gorgeous in this. I mean, I think she looks a lot prettier in these bright colors like this. Yeah, what do you guys think? Isn't that cute? And yeah, we kind of get like our little last hurrah for summer. And yeah, in her cute little sundress. What do you guys think of her? Isn't she cute? And I'm going to go ahead and just, I think after the video I will just maybe water down her hair just a little bit, although it doesn't really need much. It's just a little bit flyaway kind of in the front, just a little bit, and this kind of hair will frizz a little bit if you don't take care of it, so I condition it fairly regularly. And then if I need to brush it again, well, I'll use a toothbrush on her, because it's very like it's thin hair, you know, it's thin, fine hair. Really gorgeous hair. And but I'll use like a little toothbrush on it to you know, to brush it through. And then when on the times where I don't condition it and when I feel like it needs a little bit of wetting down, I will just use regular water. I'll just use water on it. But I think for now, I think she's going to be good to go. But yeah, what do you guys think of her? I think she looks cute in this. I think this dress was like perfect for her. I feel like this was made for her. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Don't know how long I've been going, but I think it's been a while. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. And if you want to hear more about like things that we went through during the adoption and just things that have happened to us while going through that experience, let me know. I will do that. And you guys have a great day. And please be kind to each other. And give your babies a huge hug from all of us here at Serenade Nursery, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.